It's 2 in the morning. The house is quiet, you're asleep, and then it starts. One chirp, then nothing. Then, right when you've talked yourself into believing you imagined it, another one. So you do what I've done, what nearly everybody does. You drag a chair over, climb up, twist the thing off the ceiling, pull the battery out, and drop back into bed. And it chirps again, with the battery sitting on your nightstand. That's not a haunting. It's a small unit on your ceiling telling you something very specific, and once you know what it's saying, it stops for good. So let me walk you through everything that chirp can mean, and we'll start with the one that makes the least sense of all. Number 1, and this is the one that answers what I just described, because it's the strangest. You took the battery out, and it's still chirping. The first time that happened to me, I stood there wondering if I was losing my mind. There's a bit of stored charge left inside the unit, held in a part called a capacitor, and it has enough in it to keep the chirp going for a while after the battery's gone. So you drain it. Battery out, and on a hardwired one, kill the breaker first. Then press and hold the test button, the big one in the middle, and keep holding it. Count to 15, 20 if you're patient. You'll probably hear one last chirp or a short shriek as it empties out. That's the last of the charge leaving. Now put a fresh battery in and mount it back on the ceiling. Done. It's the trick no manual ever seems to mention, and the one that saves you from throwing the whole thing across the room. So why does it always happen in the dead of night? You've noticed it. Everybody has. It's never the middle of the afternoon when you're standing right underneath it. It's 2 in the morning, and that brings us to number 2, which is the reason, and it isn't bad luck. A battery near the end of its life has enough voltage to keep the alarm happy while the house is warm. Overnight, your heating drops back, the rooms cool down, and a cold battery's voltage sags. It slips under the line the alarm needs, so it chirps to say the power's low. Then the sun comes up, the house warms, the voltage recovers, and now you can't make it chirp again to save your life, so you write it off as a fluke and forget about it. That's the mistake. A chirp that only turns up at night is a battery on its way out. I get asked about this more than almost anything, and the answer never changes. Don't wait for it to settle down. Change the battery now, while you're thinking about it, and you've bought yourself another year of quiet nights. Number 3. Sometimes the battery is completely fine, and the alarm itself has just worn out. Think of it as the unit's birthday. A smoke alarm expires, and almost nobody knows that. It's not a lump of plastic that lasts forever. The sensor inside wears down, and once it's old enough, the makers build it to start chirping to tell you it's finished, no matter how fresh the battery is. The fire people, the National Fire Protection Association, put the limit at 10 years from the date it was made. And the part I like is that the date is stamped right on the back of the unit. Take it down and look. You'll find a manufacture date or a replace by date printed on it. I've pulled units off ceilings that were 15 years old, chirping their heads off, and the owner had changed the battery 4 times fighting it. Nothing you put in it fixes an alarm that's aged out. If yours is past 10 years, or there's no date on it at all, which usually means it's ancient, that one's past saving. Take it down, bin it, and buy a new one. And a combination unit, the kind that does smoke and carbon monoxide together, wears out sooner than a smoke-only one. Don't guess. The life is on the label, so read it. Number 4. You found the chirping alarm, dealt with it, new battery, the lot, and the chirp is still there. So it must be the ceiling itself. No. You're hearing a different unit, and it happens 2 ways. The first is a spare, and I've run into this one myself. An old detector, taken down months back, sitting in a drawer with a cell still in it, chirping away inside the chest of drawers while the owner turned the whole room over looking for it. The speaker is inside the unit, so a detached one chirps just fine. The second way is wiring. In a lot of newer homes, the alarms are all linked together, so when one has a problem, they can all chirp, and the loudest is often not the one with the fault. If that's the situation, here's how to find the culprit. Most units have a small light, usually green. Go to your breaker panel and switch the circuits off one at a time, watching that light until it goes dark. That's the one. And while you're at the panel, label it, because half the misery here is a panel where nothing's marked and you're flipping breakers blind with a torch in your mouth. Number 5. A hardwired alarm, one wired straight into the house electrics, still has a battery in it. I know how that sounds. People pay an electrician good money for a hardwired unit specifically so they never have to think about a battery again, and there's a battery in it. It's a backup, and it's there for a good reason. If a fire knocks out your power, or the power goes off on its own, you still want the alarm working, so it runs off that backup when the mains is gone. which means when that backup runs low, the unit chirps, exactly like a battery-only one. This is what trips people up. They think, it's hardwired, so I'll cut the power to it, and they flip the breaker and go back to bed. And it carries on chirping, because the cell is still in there doing its job. I've lost count of the hardwired ones I've taken down for exactly this. So if a hardwired one is chirping, it's almost always the backup that's gone flat. Take it down, put a fresh one in, and you're sorted. Number 6. You put in a new battery, straight out of the packet, and it's still going. 9 times out of 10, it's in, but it isn't making proper contact. Maybe it went in backwards. A 9-volt only fits one way, but up a ladder in the dark, holding a torch in your teeth, nobody checks which way round it is, and it seats just enough to feel in without connecting. Maybe the little pull tab is still over the terminals. Maybe the drawer hasn't clicked fully shut. Or, on an older unit, the metal contacts have bent flat and aren't pressing on it anymore. There's a quick test for that. Press the button. If you get nothing at all, no beep, no shriek, it isn't connected. A good cell makes that button scream. I've taken a unit down and found the pull tab still on, while the owner swore blind they'd changed it. So if it's silent, take it out. Look at the contacts, bend them back out a touch if they're flat, and reseat it properly. That's usually the whole fix. Number 7. If you've been through all of that and it's still going, take the cover off and look inside, because it might simply be dirty. Dust, cobwebs, the odd dead insect. It builds up in the little chamber where the alarm senses smoke, and once there's enough in there, the alarm gets confused and chirps. It's more common than you'd think if the unit sits near a ceiling fan or in a dusty corner. Clean it out gently. A vacuum with the brush nozzle held close, or a can of compressed air from a bit of a distance. And gently is the word that matters. Blast a cold can of air straight at the sensor from an inch away, and you can leave moisture on it, and then it plays up until it dries out. So easy does it. One last thing on the dirty ones, and it's my favorite. A woman 2 doors down from me, Sandra, spent half the night with a can of bug spray, hunting a cricket that was really the smoke alarm, chirping every 40 seconds. And half the people who look this up start out thinking exactly that. So save your money on the bug spray and check the ceiling first. Before you do anything else though, let me talk you out of the fix you're most tempted to try in the small hours, because I've been that tempted myself. You want to make it stop, not fix it. Just make the noise end for the night. So people do things I'd rather they didn't. They wrap the alarm in a towel, seal it in a plastic bag, put it in the freezer, or, and I've genuinely seen this, take a hammer to it and leave the wreckage in the bin. The problem with all of that is simple. That chirp is the single most annoying noise in your house, and it's also the only part of the unit doing its job. It's the same speaker that will wake you if there's ever a real fire. The plan then is never to silence it and walk off. If you have to kill it for one night to sleep, fine, pull the battery, but put a working one back in, or a whole new unit, first thing in the morning. Don't ever leave your home without a working alarm on the ceiling. There's one chirp, though, you never treat as a nuisance. If the unit is a carbon monoxide alarm, or a combination one, listen to the pattern it makes. 4 beeps in a row, a pause, then 4 more, is the alarm maker's own signal that carbon monoxide is in the air. Get everyone out of the house and into fresh air, then call for help from outside. That gas gives you no warning on your own, which is the whole reason the alarm is there. A single chirp once a minute is a tired battery. 4 beeps together means get out. Learn that difference before you ever silence one of these. 7 things, and every one of them is something you can sort yourself. The trick is knowing which of the 7 the chirp is pointing at, and now you do. Next time it goes off, you won't be the person on a wobbly chair at 3 in the morning swinging at the ceiling and guessing. And if you honestly can't reach the unit safely, and plenty of people can't, your fire service runs a non-emergency line for exactly this, and they won't mind the call. Do me a favor when you track yours down. Drop a comment and tell me which number it turned out to be, because the one that gets people is almost never the one they'd have bet on.